What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of my post-fight reaction video brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. They're in your corner with unlimited 5G data that will not slow you down. Stick around for my performance player of the night. It's my fighter of the night, guys. As you know, I do that on every post-fight reaction video. I'm pretty sure you guys can guess who that is. Paris, France has proven to be one of the best places for fighting and live sports that I have seen. The WWE was there last week, I believe, and it was insane. The crowd, the reactions. Last year, when Ciryl Gane was the headliner in Paris, the crowd, the reactions, you could just see how much and how thirsty these people are for mixed martial arts and sports. They're locked in from fight one. The energy's high all the way through the night. And I believe that energy led to, in WWE's case, some really good matches. The performance performed better. And tonight, or today, it led to the fighters fighting better. They fought well tonight. I mean, I watched guys fight better than they have. I watched 10 of 12 fights end. I watched every prelim fight end. You know, a lot of times we as fans wonder what we can do to be a part. It show out with the energy because I'm telling you, it bolsters the fighters. They can hear it. They get excited about going in front of a hot crowd tonight in Paris. It was a hot crowd. It was never better, though, than for their own Nassourdine Imavov. You know, recently we have spoken a lot on Good Guy, Bad Guy. We have spoken a lot here about what it would take to solidify yourself as the number one contender in the middleweight division. Tonight, Nassourdine Imavov took a big step towards doing that. He beat Caio Borralho over the course of 25 minutes. I think he got 50-45 on two scorecards. And then on the other one, he had 50-45 and 49-46 on the other two. So Caio Borralho, who knew he had to wrestle to take Imavov down, only was able to attempt 5 takedowns. And when you stand with Nassourdine Imavov, he's hard to deal with. He's so fast. He's so quick. And as you watch his career progress, you are watching him truly come into his own. If you're Caio Borralho and you watched him fight Ciryl Adesanya, who is an amazing striker, and beat him in the way that he did, you would think the only way to go and get a victory is to get takedowns. He got none. He struggled. He was very rarely able to get close to takedowns. I think it continues to show the evolution of Imavov's game. He just gets better and better every time we see him inside the octagon. And tonight, he had one of the biggest victories. But it's not like he's been beating cans. Brendan Allen, Joaquin Buckley, Ciryl Adesanya. All those guys he has beaten since Sean Strickland was able to get him a few years ago. He's been able to get through so many great fighters recently. And it just shows. The striking was always there. The question always was, how would he deal with pressure, takedown attempts, and just truly being under attack? Well, he showed tonight that it's hard to even put him under attack. It's hard to even put him under constant attack because he's so good at managing space, distance, and control you with this striking. So many fighters spoke about Imavov. Aljamain Sterling said, another marquee win for Imavov. Tough, because I'm wondering what the game plan was of Borralho. I thought he would have been looking for the takedown a little more frequently, but it seems like he was content to stand up and fight. Henry Cejudo goes, great win for Imavov, but I think the winner of RDR Fluffy is getting the title shot next. First fighter tonight went 5-0 with 3 finishes. And you know crowds love that at home. When you're in the situation Imavov was in tonight, and you get a dominant win like that, guys, make no mistake about it. 4-1 on 2 scorecards, 5-0 on 1 scorecard. That's a dominant win over a very good guy. But is it enough? You always wonder, especially if you're the first guy out trying to make a statement, what do you need to do to really solidify yourself? Is it enough to make people go, I don't care what I see in Hernandez versus RDR, I know that I watched my number one contender fight when I watched UFC Paris. I don't like judging on a sliding scale. But being that he was first, being that he was dominant, I think today people will rush to say he's the number one contender. But I think that because it wasn't a finish between either, obviously, Nassourdine got the victory. I think people will want to wait and see, because if Ruffy and them look good, if Ruffy can replicate what he did in the last fight, they'll go, that's more impressive. That seems more dangerous to Khamzat Chimaev. I think he did amazing, but I don't know if it solidified him. And that's an unfortunate part of mixed martial arts. Benoit Saint-Denis in the co-main event attempted 10 takedowns against Mauricio Ruffy. Got 3 takedowns. But I mean, he was very aggressive trying to get those takedowns. It reminded me of when he fought Dustin Poirier. How in round 1, he was just going after takedown after takedown after takedown after takedown. And then Dustin eventually knocked him out. But I watched people almost look past him going into this fight. I watched my boy Money Morcano telling me that it was easy money to bet Mauricio Ruffy. Benoit Saint-Denis had no chance. I don't know how a guy that spent the time in the octagon with Benoit could say that, because the beating he put on him and the fact that he never stopped should tell him what type of machine he would be dealing with, what type of fighter Mauricio Ruffy was dealing with. You know, when he got that choke on Ruffy, it wasn't under the neck. It was more of a neck crank, and he got Ruffy to tap. Guys, you have to understand that Mauricio Ruffy, to this point, has been able to manage people. He had not dealt with the problems of a strong grappler, a very physical, aggressive guy. And tonight, sorry to say it, he failed in his first opportunity to prove that when the flash doesn't work, it's going to be hard for him. You know, Mauricio Ruffy had been talking a lot about grapplers. He told them enjoy their time. Even Islam chimed in and said, train more, less talking. That's how you find success. He had put himself on Islam's radar, but getting this result really does kind of set him back in his journey to become a champion, or a guy that's very valuable in his weight class. But for Benoit Saint-Denis, I believe that was the greatest performance of his entire career. And we have seen him have some big fights. When he got the knockout in Madison Square Garden, we thought that was sick. It earned him a fight against Dustin Poirier, but it didn't mean what it meant today. As I mentioned earlier, guys, French fighters went 5-0 with 3 finishes. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. When you're home, you want to see the home fighters win. Though that crowd went to watch their guys and their girls get their hands raised, and it got done tonight. That's what happened. That's a big deal. Hats off to everyone in French mixed martial arts and all the fighters that went out there and just absolutely represented the best way that it could play out for a crowd like that. So my performance of the night, Total Wireless Fighter of the Night, goes to Benoit Saint-Denis for what he did, because there weren't many picking him. Mauricio Ruffy was a massive favorite, and he went out there and he got the job done. But hey, bro, I'm not surprised at anything that BSD does. This guy was a military man, one of the toughest divisions in all of French military. You look at him and you talk to him, he looks like a guy that you could send on the front line. And tonight he fought like he was out there fighting for his country. So hats off to Benoit Saint-Denis for becoming my Total Wireless Fighter of the Night. Guys, what a great event. What a great crowd. Bring that energy. That is how you put yourself in and become a part of the fight next time you're at a UFC event. Until next time, guys, hats off to Nassourdine Imavov. Hats off to Benoit Saint-Denis and everyone else that got their hand raised tonight. 10 out of 12 fights were finishes. That is a crowd that went home happy. Congratulations to you all that went out there and did your absolute thing. Until next time, like, subscribe, Tell your friends to tell their friends. DC's got a YouTube channel. I'm checking in. I'm doing reactions. I got it all for you, baby. All you got to do is come to DC TV. Until next time, peace.